Have you ever heard the terms data analyst, data engineer, and data scientist thrown around and just kind of nodded along, wondering what the real difference is? Well, you're in the right place. We're going to demystify the whole world of data science by breaking down the three key roles that make everything tick. So let's pull back the curtain and meet the team behind all that data. Seriously, just think about it for a second. How on earth does a streaming service know, exactly what movie you're in the mood for? Or how does an online store pop up with the perfect thing you didn't even know you needed? Is it some kind of digital mind reading? Well, surprise, surprise, it's not magic at all. It's actually the result of a super skilled team of specialists, all working together perfectly in sync. And today, we're going to meet that team, the architect, the detective, and the futurist. First up, we've got the foundation of it all, the person who builds the entire system from the ground up, the data engineer. You really have to think of them as the master architects of the data world. So, what's their main mission? It sounds simple, but it's incredibly complex. They design, build, and maintain the massive infrastructure needed to handle just enormous amounts of data. Honestly, without them, there's no data to analyze, nothing to learn from. They make everything else possible. So what does that look like day to day? Well, first, they build these digital pipelines. You can picture them as super highways for information that move data from all over the place into one central spot. Then they manage the databases where all this info lives. And this is so crucial. They make sure that data is clean, reliable, and available 24/7. Their work is the bedrock. And okay, this is a really important point, the difference between their tools and their skills. Over on the left, you see the technologies they use, things like Python, Spark, and cloud platforms like AWS. But look at the right. Those are the fundamental skills. Serious, heavy-duty coding, understanding complex distributed systems, which is really just a fancy way of saying they know how to make a bunch of computers work together as one, and cloud architecture. You know, the tools might change, but those core skills, they're timeless. All right, so our engineer has built this incredible library of data. But who's going to read the books? That's where our next character comes in. Let's bring in the data analyst, our detail-oriented detective. The data analyst's entire job is to sift through all that organized data to find clues about what has already happened. They look into the past to spot trends, create reports, and help leaders make smarter business decisions based on cold, hard facts, not just a gut feeling. And their process is super methodical. First, they have to prepare the data, cleaning up any messy bits or missing pieces. Then they dive in and analyze it, looking for patterns and important numbers. But the real magic, the real secret sauce, happens in step 3. They visualize their findings, turning endless rows of numbers into crystal clear charts and dashboards that actually tell a story. And their tools totally reflect this focus. They're using stuff like Excel, SQL, and awesome visualization software like Tableau or Power BI. All of it is designed for one thing: finding and communicating insights. And check out their skills: analytical thinking, stats, and this one's huge, communication. Because it's not enough to find the answer. An analyst has to be able to explain it clearly to everybody else. Okay, so we've got a system from the engineer, we have an explanation of the past from the analyst, but what about the future? For that, we turn to the final member of our Trinity, the data scientist, our visionary futurist. So while the analyst looks backward to explain what happened, the data scientist is all about looking forward to predict what will happen. They use these really sophisticated tools, like machine learning and advanced algorithms, to build models that can actually forecast the future. Their workflow is pretty amazing. It's part science, part art. It all starts by framing a business problem as a predictive question. Then you get to the core task, building and training a machine learning model and just rigorously testing how accurate it is. And finally, they deploy that model, which means they plug it into a real-world app, like a recommendation engine, and they keep an eye on it to make sure it stays sharp. And their toolkit definitely reflects this complexity. They're using programming languages like Python with these super specialized machine learning libraries like scikit-learn and TensorFlow. But notice their skills. It's not just about machine learning and stats. It's also about critical thinking and storytelling, so they can explain their complex predictions in a way that actually gets people to take action. So we've met the architect, the detective, and the futurist. But here's the thing. None of them works in a bubble. Their real power is unleashed when they collaborate. Let's see how that actually works. Let's go right back to our Netflix example. Step 1. The data engineer builds that pipeline that's collecting your viewing history, like right now, in real time. Step 2, the data analyst studies all that data to report on trends, like, hey, users who watch show A also tended to like show B. And finally, step 3, the data scientist takes those insights and builds a predictive model that says, okay, because you watched A and B, you are 90% likely to absolutely love show C. See? Each step just builds on the last one. You know, there's a fantastic way to think about it. Picture a movie production team. The engineer? That's the setup crew, making sure all the lights, cameras, and sound equipment are ready to go. The analyst is the script editor, refining the story based on what's working. And the scientist? Well, the scientist is the director, taking all those pieces and creating the final forward-looking vision. So, with this whole team in mind, you might be starting to wonder, okay, where would I fit into all this? Let's try and simplify it even more. When it comes right down to it, it all boils down to the core question you're most interested in answering. The data analyst is driven by the question, what happened and why? They are the masters of the past. The data scientist, on the other hand, is obsessed with the question, what is going to happen next? They are the masters of the future. And this table right here brings it all together. This is your ultimate cheat sheet for the Trinity of data science. You can see so clearly how their focus shifts, from the analyst's reporting to the engineer's infrastructure, all the way to the scientist's predictive models. And look at how the coding level changes, and how their final outputs are completely different things, dashboards versus data pipelines versus machine learning models. This right here is the whole story in a nutshell. So as we wrap up, I'm just going to leave you with this question. Are you passionate about building robust, powerful systems like the architect? Or are you driven to uncover those hidden stories in data like the detective? Or maybe are you excited to actually predict the future like the futurist? Each role is absolutely essential, and the data-driven world we live in needs all of them. So, which one will you be?